What does it look like for those fruits to be the fundamental realities of my inner world, and then that being what comes out of my life to everything else that I do? Here's the thing about the fruits of the Spirit that I have recognized. We can view the fruit of the Spirit from a religious posture, which is ultimately rooted in the carnality, where we have a posture saying, oh, so you mean when I'm around other people, I should do those things. I should display and look like that. That's a religious posture. Versus a habitational posture says, let these fruits be grown in my life for the sake of others. So it's not just knowing that these types of fruits, these types of attributes, they describe what it means to walk with God. It's not just thinking, oh, that's what it looks like, right? Because those things are obvious. The difference between carnality and spirit is actually an obvious thing. It's actually quite obvious. So the tangle here, the challenge here is not so much, do I recognize that's what it means to follow God? That's what it means to be. No, the challenge here is, what does it actually take for me to have habitual awareness to live in constant display of those fruits versus living in this carnal nature? What does it actually mean for me to grow them? What does it actually mean for those to be the fundamental postures of my entire life? What does it mean for those to be the foundational realities of all of who I am? Not just when I'm around other Christians, not just when I'm around the pastor. Come on. Not just when I'm around, this situation. Not just on Sunday, let me paint it on and wear it nice. No. What does it look like for those fruits to be the fundamental realities of my inner world, and then that being what comes out of my life to everything else that I do? So it's important that we understand the posture. Yeah, come on. So let's just cover those quickly. Those 9 fruits of the Spirit were love. Everybody say love. Joy. Peace. Forbearance. What do you think forbearance means? Forbearance means an extension of grace. Somebody else can say, were somebody going to say something? Patience? Yeah, we're gonna get that. I've always looked at forbearance. I learned the meaning of this when I got my first student loan. When I got my first student loan and I missed my first payment, everybody say missed the first payment. When I missed the first payment, they sent me a letter in the mail. It says you might need a forbearance. You might need an extension of grace. You might need somebody to look at your situation and say, you're gonna pay up, but right now we're going to give you grace. Everybody say, I got grace for that. So there's this extension of grace. Fifthly was kindness. Everybody say kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and everybody loves this one, self-control. Say it again, self-control. Say it again, self-control. So what I want to do today, because those are obvious. Anybody have a hard time understanding what kindness is? Mama taught you that when you was young, huh, Devin? I think we understand. Anybody have a hard time knowing what joy looks like? No. I think there's these things are obvious, the attributes, that what they look like, their demonstration thereof. I mean, I think we understand this. Yeah, that's all the goods. I want the goods. Everybody say, I want the goods. So I think we should spend a little time focusing more on today how to greater demonstrate the habitational life by growing healthy fruit. Everybody say, grow healthy fruit. We grow healthy fruit. How? I'm so glad you asked. First off, in your notes, we grow healthy fruit by considering, first off, seed time and harvest. Everybody say seed time and harvest. We need to recognize that fruit doesn't just randomly pop up. Fruit is intentional. Fruit required somebody actually being intentional to put seed in the ground and then monitor that seed, work that seed. Everybody say, work the seed, work the seed. We need to understand that there's seed time and harvest when it relates to spirit, when it relates to natural fruit, and when it relates to spiritual fruit. Let me present to you this morning. Everybody say intentionality. See, you cannot expect fruit where you did not put seed. Would you walk out into a desert, a desert wasteland? What about Ridgecrest? Some of y'all came from Ridgecrest, so you know. You would not walk out into your backyard where you know you've put no seed in the ground and expect to go grab some tomatoes. You would not expect to walk in your backyard where you know you never put an orange tree and think that you're going to have ready oranges just for the picking. We cannot expect fruit where we did not place seed. What does placing seed to bear spiritual fruit look like? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to talk about that this morning. I want to simply put to you that it starts with intentionality. It starts with reflection. It starts with awareness. It starts with desire. It starts with the right thinking. It starts with a posture towards, I need freedom. The Apostle Paul opened Galatians 5 with this presentation and articulation that there's a spiritual boundness upon humanity that we need to get free from. So in order to begin to grow fruit, we got to understand that to grow fruit takes seed in the ground. And in order to get a harvest, we've got to have actually worked the seed we put in the ground. We've had to stay mindful, working at it, intentional about our seed. We need to, first off, yield to the Spirit of God in order to grow spiritual fruit. We have to have this intentionality at work in us, knowing habitational life, there's a war going on inside of me. There's a spiritual war. There's competing for dominion. There's this carnal nature competing with this spirit-led nature. And I need to be intentional about that. And I need to begin to yield to God. Everybody say, yield to God. Now this happens, I've observed, at a moment by moment basis. The habitational life doesn't go on timeout. The habitational life doesn't go to sleep. The habitational life doesn't come for a season. This inspiration of God's Spirit wanting to occupy, live in you, and consume you is something that never ends. It's an ongoing, never-ending journey of God saying, I want to be ruler of your life. I want to be in the rulership, the lordship posture of your life. And so we need to begin to yield to God every single moment. When a farmer thinks about his seed, he's not just setting seed in the ground and then showing back up 3-4 months later expecting results. A farmer watches his land. A farmer knows the condition of his fields. He keeps an eye on it. Come on. He gets on the four-wheeler and he takes a little tour around and he looks for weeds and he looks for things growing where it shouldn't be growing. He's looking for leaning trees that he might stand them upright again, things that are beginning to lean out of place. And he's saying, let me get that thing upright so that it can stand the test. So there's this observation. Seed time and harvest takes an intentionality. It takes observation. It takes correction. It takes, righting the wrong. It takes correcting and course correcting the path. It's important that we realize in growing fruit takes intentionality.